Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. All right. We're going to get straight into it. Seek the Lord first. And we're going to start off at Matthew 6:33. It says, "But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." If you seek the Lord first, of course, you coming out of the world, and you coming into men's labors that was, prepared and so forth before you. That's paraphrasing scripture. You have to first, you got to understand what being diligent is. You have to understand that lazy nature that you had in the world is not going to benefit you in the truth, and it's going to be an irritating spirit on you that, when you're around brothers that are inclined in the spirit and so forth. If you are a person like myself, you want to achieve that level of success per se in the truth, you know that it's going to require you to be more diligent. You gotta you gotta go in. You gotta, all else fails, this is the most important thing for you to do. No matter if you lose a house, a car, a job, whatever the case, it doesn't matter. You got to do the work to get to them chariots. You got to do the work to get to the kingdom. You got to do the work to be able to break down the scriptures properly and so forth, so you won't be a bug out. You want to humble yourself, subject yourself to righteous men, subject yourself to the spirit, so that you can increase, and in due time the Lord will give you them spiritual gifts. Pray without ceasing. We ought to pray without ceasing. So continuing to pray for the gifts in the spirit, you say, hey, I would love to be able to break down chapters and so forth and understand precepts better. Well, that's the knowledge and wisdom of the Most High. All right. But first, all these things shall be added unto you. We know that's the spiritual power, first and foremost, before we are, before Jacob's trouble, before fishers turn hunters, brothers are going to have that spiritual power where they're going to be able to save other, other Akim and Aquath, meaning other brothers and other sisters. But before then, before we gain the kingdom, before we enter the chariots, before Babylon's destroyed, we have to work on what we can right now. And that right now is the spiritual gifts of the Most High that we look over, like reading. Some brothers don't like to read. Some people don't like to stop moving so much and just let the eyes work. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta pray for that childlike spirit in the Most High, so that He can open you up and you can see. You can visualize see yourself in the pages per se. You know what I'm saying? So we can inherit the kingdom. All right. So this is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please Him. All right. In our studies and so forth, in seeking the Most High, everything that we're reading, everything that we're hearing, the scriptures say, blessed is he that hear the word. We don't want to just be hearers of the word. We want to be doers of the word. We constantly watching videos, constantly listening to the elders and so forth, the prophets, the leaders of the camps. You don't just want to go to the camps and just nod and yeah, and, crack, laugh or whatever occasionally and so forth. You want to be austere. You want to learn how to keep that bearing. You know what I'm saying? Bearing meaning your posture. Remain firm, because this is not a game. It's not a laughing matter. It's not a joking matter. So you want to imitate Yahweh Shai to eventually become that austere man to the best of your ability. So you want to pay attention, be attentive. All right. And all of that helps with gaining faith and being diligent. So if you know you might could be a little weak in certain areas, ask the Most High to strengthen it. Pray about it. If it's fasting, if you know, like myself, I need to fast more. I see the benefits in the spirit and in the flesh when I fast. So I need to do that more to gain more of a spiritual advantage that I would desire. You know. And through these things, we ought to pray and seek faith. You know what I'm saying? We know that we are prisoners of hope, but faith without works is dead. And simply everything that we praying to the Lord for, we must have faith and know that, hey, what we're praying for, we must believe that it's to happen and it's to come. All right. So this Hebrews 11:6 again, it says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. Without believing in what you praying for, it's impossible to please the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It says, for he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is. You must believe in Yahweh. You must believe in Yahweh Shai. You must believe that he has sent the prophets and the elders, just like times before. You know, everything under the sun pretty much happens again. So just like times of old, he sent the prophets to wake us up. So now we know that we're literally at the end. We're literally at the very end of this thing, that we're starting to see the signs and times and all of that. And we see how Babylon is breaking down, how this beast system is breaking down and so forth. Of course, you will want to be girded up in the word. You know, of course, you want to study more and do better personally for yourself, your personal accomplishments and so forth. So how much more are you going to get there if you don't believe in the Most High? You won't get there at all. You're just wasting your time. So to believe in the Most High, you begin to work that faith. You know, what is it about the mustard seed? Faith, you know, paraphrasing, faith the size of a mustard. You know, a person having faith the size of a mustard seed. That's all you need for the Most High to water and nurture that seed for it to grow. You know what I'm saying? So if you know you got a small amount of faith, okay, humble yourself, subject yourself to the Most High, and say, Lord, I don't have the most faith, but you got me here, and I want to do the work. So eventually, over time, the Lord's gonna, you know, He continue to see you being diligent. And you know, you've been diligent in your actions and so forth, and not just with making videos, but your everyday life. Not just in front of bros at the camps, but your everyday life. Your family see the change in you. You see the change in you. Yahweh and the angels see the change in Yahweh Shai and the angels see the change in you. Eventually, the Lord is going to continue to give you that spiritual power. You know, with the more, you know, the more that you do for the Most High, the more responsibility he gonna give you. The more successful you are with it, the more he gonna give you. You know. All right. I'm gonna start it again. It says, but Salaki, Hebrews 11:6, Salaki. It says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. He's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. We know that the Most High wants to give us the kingdom. Of course, any good father, any austere man, he gonna put you through tests, hella tests. You know what I'm saying? Because you're inheriting something for eternity. You know, even if you take you got a position at a job or something, the test that you may take, it may give you a little stress and so forth. So how much more so in the truth, where you're gonna be kings for eternity? You're gonna be high priests for eternity. You're gonna be heirs to the throne for eternity. You're going to reign over heathens for eternity. So how much more so are we to gird up gird up our loins, be diligent, increase our faith so that the Lord can reward us. You know what I'm saying? And as of right now, hey, just asking for the spiritual aspect of the rewards, like, hey, the clearing of your mind and so forth, the being able to understand the difference between worldly doctrines and the truth. Well, true, worldly doctrines and the truth, because there's a lot of camps that speak different doctrines. So they come under the name of righteousness, they come under the name of Yahushua, but they preach another Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? That's not the truth. When you first come in, you might be jumping from camp to camp and so forth. Not to really say jumping from camp to camp, but you might be watching multiple camps, thinking that everything's the same. But then when you get further down the line, the Lord putting them temptations on you to do what this group is saying, is doing what that group is saying, and so forth. You become confused. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually, if you're meant to get this truth, quite possibly you may be of the elect. If you're meant to get this truth, the Most High going to send you to the right group, to the right camp that's going to nurture you with His Spirit. And to my personal, I would say, research and experience, it is Great Millstone. So that's a blessing that bros have been able to come here to get the knowledge of Great Millstone. So, the knowledge of the Most High that He's given through His Son Yahushua to the elders and the prophets of Great Millstone on down. So consider yourself blessed. Continue to fight, and continue to be diligent and humble yourself. That's the number one thing in the truth that I noticed from watching brothers that I was once subscribed to and so forth, that I was watching per se, and they're not in the truth. They're not in the truth no more. Well, they're not in the purity of the truth. They are now scoffers against Great Millstone. Why? Because the Lord took them out. They weren't you can't really say that they weren't diligent. It's just that, hey, that the Lord, He's the Father of spirits as well. You know what I'm saying? So He'll put spirits upon you to get you out if He don't deem you fit. He'll bring you in just to judge you, to get you up out of here. So now you're stuck as a new follower in the truth per se. Now you stuck deciding what is this and what is that. Well, diligent research, not just taking what a man says at face value. No matter what the elders say, they're gonna always tell you that, hey, go back and do your own research. That's what starts that diligence. That's what starts that belief in Yahweh, because everything that the elders and the prophets are saying are lining up with the scriptures. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go to 2 Timothy 2:15. Shalaki, just a sec. 2 Timothy 2, verse 15. It says, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of the work. Don't be ashamed of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. What you got to be ashamed for when the creator of the complete known and unknown universe has chosen you to be in His army? What you got to be ashamed of? What you got to fear? You're going to learn to get rid of that fear, just like anything else. You're going to learn to get rid of that fear. Everybody go through it. It just is what it is. It says, rightly dividing the word of truth. So, rightly dividing the word of truth, being able to break down the precepts correctly, being able to differentiate between what brothers that are genuinely in the truth for the right reasons are. They're not here for vain glory or filthy lucre's sake. and so forth, but they're here to do brotherly work to make sure that the flock is tended to properly, as Yahweh Shah would if he was here today. You know what I'm saying? As King David would if he was, still under the household of his father. He's going to make sure that he go out and he see danger. He's going to go fight off them lions and so forth, and the bears and so forth, to make sure that the flock is together. So, us being in that flock of Yahweh Shai, we want to do the best that we can to maintain and stay in the confines of what the Lord has planned for us. We don't want to do anything that's going to, cause us to go astray. So I want to get the definition of diligent. All right, going back to Hebrews 11:6. Diligently, in the blue letter, is G 1567. Let me see if my volume work.
Strong's G 1567. Exateo.
Okay. Meaning to seek out, search for, investigate, scrutinize. That's being thorough. Being thorough in your planning, being thorough in your studies, not just taking anything any brother says at face value. You're processing what they're saying in the spirit, but you must be diligent in your own works, so that over time you'll begin to retain the knowledge that Yahweh Shai has so effortlessly given to you. You know what I'm saying? So you wanna be in that flock and remain in that flock. You don't want to be the goat among sheep. You don't want to be the ram amongst sheep. Bucking up at the elders and so forth. You just been in only a few years, but you feel like you got the gall. You feel like you got the balls to scoff up at the prophets. Like, come on, man. If you've been reading the scriptures and you know this and you know that, then you should know first and foremost what's going to happen to those that buck up at the elders, that buck up at the men of the Lord. That's self-explanatory. Those are some of the day one things that you learn with having the fear of the Most High. With getting the fear of the Most High, you learn, get that rebellion out your heart. So for you to be scoffing at the elders and the prophets and so forth, and you know better, the Most High got a serious demon on you, man, because you came into the light to go back to being blind because you feel like you are the light bearer now. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you bugged out. All right, staying into subjection of the word, staying humble. That's gonna take you far. So the fear of the Most High is really the grounds of this thing. What you really want to stay in. So this is Proverbs 9 and verse 10. It says, "The fear of the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, is the beginning of wisdom." And the knowledge of the Salakia, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. So the fear of the Most High is what's going to cause you to go further in this thing. You're going to start watching brothers giving videos and this and that. You're going to the camp and so forth, and you're going to automatically start choking up because you ain't making videos. You first start hearing videos, you can think you ready for this and that. Obviously, you're not. But it's going to cause you to choke. Why? Because you starting to fear the Most High, and immediately, if you're of the elect, if you're of the hopeful elect, we believe that we're the hopeful elect, but we also have faith that we are the elect. So, I remember myself, I'm choking up. I'm like, oh man, I got to do this, I got to do that. And you start to become over righteous in everything that you do because you're not trying to sin purposely or involuntary in front of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So you do become over righteous. You're gonna go through that. You can go through not knowing if you in the truth or not, and so forth. But when you go through all of what the Lord is having you go through in them first phases, and you find yourself sinning, you find yourself slacking and so forth, and you say, "Man, I got to do better. I don't like this sluggish feeling. I don't like how this is making me, feel throughout my day." Because, when you come in the truth, you thinking about the Most High all day, every day, no matter what you're doing. So if you feeling like you're not doing the most for the Lord, then you in the right spirit. If you feeling like, if you know you ain't doing much and you don't really care, you got a spirit, and you acknowledge that spirit and you still remain in that spirit with no type of remorse, well, the Lord gonna get you up out of here. But if you are constantly being circumspect, you're constantly making plans on being diligent. You say, "Lord, this day won't the best for me, Lord. Salaki, you ask the Lord for forgiveness. You repent. This day won't the best for me, Lord. I try to do this, I try to do that." Hey, keep talking to the Lord. Keep manifesting the spirit. You know what I'm saying? And then the Lord is gonna give you balance, because He's about balance. So He gonna give you them headaches, and then He gonna give you that peace. And then once you developed in the spirit a little bit here and there, He's gonna come with a bigger challenge, and then you just equate it with what you learn in the truth, so that everything remains balanced. So if you stay in the right spirit, you're gonna be diligent. You stay in the right spirit, you're gonna be I just said the word Shalaki. Man, you know how it is when your mind just go blank for a second. But that's staying humble as well. Circumspect. When you say circumspect is to observe yourself. You observe your errors. You observe your reward. You not reward, but you observe your errors, and you observe yourself getting higher in the truth. You say, "Okay, well, I'm learning this, I'm learning that. I don't want to get too prideful. Let me stay right here, bended knee, hands and head down. So, hey, you won't get too prideful in it. You won't become those scoffing at the elders. You won't become those scoffing at the prophets and so forth." All right. Yeah, I think that's I made the points on all that I wanted to speak on. So stay firm, stay hard. Know that the reward is the kingdom. Know that the reward is spiritual power. Know that the reward is being able to see, our Father and our Lord Yahweh Shai face to face. To sip that wine with Him. To sip that wine, that cup of wine with Yahweh Shai. Being brought into the marriage. You know what I'm saying? Being on them chariots, salvation. So we know down here we the grunts for the Lord. We the grunts of the Lord. So hey, you gotta fight, man. You gotta train. You gotta go hard, man. And sitting down being lazy, and you ain't gonna get nowhere but a two-piece missile being flown directly for you, man. So the water to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for ruling well and teaching us and to become soldiers, become men of the Lord. So stay firm. I'd like to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rekah HaKadosh. Peace and shalom to the elect.